Thank you for attending another great interview on Saxofriends. Today, my guest is saxophonist extraordinaire, Mrs. I got to get that right. I said Miss yesterday. Mrs. Janette Gibson Davis. I got to give the king his props. That's his woman. So let me start out with that. All
Well, thank you.
right. All right. So, Jeanette, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I've been extremely busy this year. It's been an exciting year for my music business. It's been an exciting year for music in general. So I'm enjoying it and having a good time. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that though. And so let's go back to when little J G wanted to start
Yeah.
music. When did you get an interest in music?
I've always been drawn to music from a young age. I can remember at 8 years old, I would hear music and basically understand the distance between notes. It was a very interesting thing. I taught myself how to play the keyboard around 8 years old. Some some old piano book that my dad brought home. It had a cutout for the notes and that fascinated me. So that was kind of my first experience with music. And then of course I had the opportunity to join the band in sixth grade, as most of us do. Funny story about that. My dad he went to our local garage sale and picked up a clarinet, and he says, "You're gonna play clarinet." I said, "But Dad, I want to play saxophone." So him and my mom worked together and purchased my first sax, an alto sax, the classic, Yamaha, yeah, it's 23.
The 23? Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's the one.
yeah, yeah. So that was a really awesome horn. I got a chance to do that, but the condition for that was that every week I had to perform in church without fail. So this happened for 7 years straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it allowed me to develop my ear, in the world as I was still acquiring some type of academic understanding of music. So, yeah, it's about a little bit about my background,
You cut your
how I
teeth.
got
You
started.
you cut your teeth early in church then, basically, huh? You got your stuff in there. Yeah.
Oh man, that I owe so much to the church. I played primarily at a church in Bankstop, Texas, small place. It was led by Pastor Patricia Risher. Her son, Joe Risher, was the organist for the church. And when I say, oh, it was, they put you on the spot. I remember knowing one note, and you know what they do? They get up here, Jeanette, and solo. And it's me with my one note, just and that type of environment really cultivates the performer within you. So yeah.
You develop your ear doing that pretty much, right? You start picking up on stuff.
Absolutely. And whenever I was able to take those skills that I learned in the church and bring them back into school, it really separated me from a lot of the other players that, didn't have the exposure to constantly testing their ear, essentially. So I owe that it really progressed into me being able to go to college on a full scholarship because of that. My journey it's been interesting and I love it.
That's all right. Did you, when you were coming up before you went to college, did you play any gigs? Did you play any
Well,
professional gigs?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I technically started playing professionally at 11 years old because the church that I was performing at, they give me a little love offering every couple of weeks, $25, $50 back then. That was a good thing for an 11-year-old.
Right,
But
right, right.
Um, after that, my band directors actually wanted to work with me personally, so they would take me out of class and um, just try their best to cultivate what they saw inside of me. It ended up in me performing with one of their groups, the Corsicana Swing Orchestra. So one of the first professional groups that I played with was in middle school with my band directors, and I mean, this was your big band, big swing jazz band, Count Basie, that type of music. So that was such an interesting thing for me to get to do because I was sitting alongside, professors that were at Navarro College, people that were teaching the curriculum of music to other individuals. And I'm just here, I'm in middle school. I just started playing, and yeah, my ear was developed, but it was something to sit alongside such talent. It was it rubs off on you. I'll say that. You just want to get a little bit of what they got.
So, who were some of your earlier
Yeah, that's
influences on saxophone?
earlier influences. One of my most impactful experiences with a saxophonist, Ezra Brown. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he is a tenor saxophonist out of Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah.
Okay.
This guy, he worked with an arts council from my hometown to bring in live entertainment whenever I was in high school. Well, man, seeing this guy live, seeing how he was able to command the audience, just make the horn speak. I had the opportunity to open for him through the arts council, and that experience for me just turned everything around. I listened to his album, Journey, for years, still studying it to this day, just because of the way he's able to evoke such emotion in his playing. And that's on the record or live. So he's a kind of a huge influence. I mean, among others, as a female, I love Candy. Who doesn't love Candy? Um,
Candy's for real, boy.
yeah,
She
yeah.
is
Oh man,
real.
following. She's the real deal.
Yeah, she is.
I've enjoyed her. A lot of the times people say, I don't necessarily hear it, but I get a lot of, you sound like Grover Washington. Yeah, his style of playing is something that I look up to. I enjoy the emotional aspect of playing as over technical aspects of playing. So whenever I hear a player that, can make me feel something as opposed to simply giving me something technical, which isn't bad,
But
but it's about that feeling for me.
so, Jeanette, are you in Dallas? Is that where you're from?
Well, I'm not from Dallas. I live in Fort Worth now, so
Oh, Fort Worth.
I'm
Okay.
primarily in the DFW
Right.
area. But I was raised in Fairfield, Texas, which is a small town of 3,000 people in East Texas. So there's not a lot to do there, which is probably why I've gravitated to music is in the way that I have, just because of the environment that I came up in. It was, what are you going to do with your time?
Yeah.
there's, there's nothing here. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how was the actual school curriculum? Because everything is changing with music in schools now. One of my sax repair techs here, she told me she deals with a couple schools, and she said she gets a budget $2,500 a year for all the instruments. That's to
Whoa.
repair them. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
not a lot of money in the school. So is it different in Texas, or do you know?
I don't have a lot of experience in the formal education system. My education, or how I've been able to practice and share my gift with the communities through private lessons. So I've been contracting my services with other, like third party music suppliers, music and arts, for example, or my own stuff. So for me, as an educator, it's really tough all the way around. There isn't anything that you're going to have for your student is going to come out of your pocket. You're going to have to buy those lesson books. You're going to have to do the research to find the material. Let alone think about, trying to have any funds left over for repairs.
Yeah.
It is a very, elitist type of industry, but I would do it all over again. I would do this 1,000 times just to see the joy in others' faces whenever they figure something out,
Yeah.
the spark in their eyes, whenever they see that, oh man, I did it, I
Yeah.
did that. Thank you. So
How many
yeah.
instruments do you play?
Ooh. Well, saxophone is my primary instrument.
Yeah,
Obviously, play soprano, alto, and tenor. I dabble with the clarinet because, as a woodwind instructor, you want to, be versed in clarinet, flute as well, and piano. So those are the primary instruments that I pursued. Now, I want to get into the bass.
I do.
That is
You
one of
know,
my favorite instruments. Yeah.
what is it about? It's funny. You're like the third saxophone player I've talked to recently that plays bass, and then you're like, yeah, Gerald Albright and all these people play
Oh,
bass. Did
wow.
you know he played bass?
I could figure that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
that I've ever seen him.
yeah. He plays. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never seen him either, but he plays. He plays on other people's records. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I've heard a
Well, the
couple people
bass
say
is,
bass. Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's what sets the groove. And as a sax player, I believe we have a unique relationship with that instrument just
right.
because we depend on that instrument in order to set the tone for whatever we want to do.
Yeah,
So I could see that. I didn't know that though. I didn't know everyone was saying that to you.
yeah. I know. I swear. I was like, because my friend Don Bill out here, he's a great sax player. He's playing bass. I was talking to somebody, I forgot one of the guys I was talking to, he was like, "Yeah, oh, matter of fact, D. Lucas. I think D. Lucas, if I'm not mistaken, I think he mentioned he wanted to play bass too, though. So it's just a lot
Oh,
of people
really?
that, yeah. Don't quote me
I
on
can
that
see
one. I know it's one of them. One of the guys said it. They want to play bass. But
somebody.
yeah, somebody said something about bass. It's like two or three of them. I'm like, all right, let's do something about sax players and bass. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
now, Jeanette, when I first saw you on YouTube, no, Facebook, you were playing alto some years ago.
Mm.
When did you make the switch
Mhm.
to tenor?
Sure. So about 2023, I was approached by a saxophone friend of mine, Marlon Boone, who works with a Korean saxophone maker, Kim's Korea. He let me know that he was working with this brand to have basically custom mouthpieces and just told me about the product. I'd heard his performances live and I was hooked. I went on the Kim's Korea site, saw the sax that I wanted, and reached out to the Kim's family. Now, as a result of that, they invited me in and asked if I'd like to be a brand ambassador for their company. So I was able to gain a partnership through that and essentially acquired my tenor sax, a TWS 808. That's the model number for the Kim saxophone that I have, and a little known fact, it's the only one in America. So I'm holding the only TWS 808.
All
I
right.
love it.
It's
But
beautiful.
yeah, just it's a gorgeous horn. I Here's the thing. Whenever I picked it up, I played on. I'll start by saying this. I played on tenor, um, Jupiter saxophones, cannonballs, Mark Sixes, Yamahas. Obviously, I've played on every type of brand you can think of for 20 years at this point. The second I picked up this horn, it was an instant just match. Now, I wasn't all the way there as far as the lung support initially, but after a couple of months working with it, I don't know how I'm ever going to go back to anything else, to be honest. It is the tone just speaks like no other. So it's about 2 years now since I've
Okay.
made that switch.
And I tell you what, though, you be getting it. You know what I mean? And what mouthpiece are you playing with it?
That's another custom piece by Marlon Boone. So it's unique. It has like a triple baffle, which isn't something that you typically see. It's a metal mouthpiece. Wish I had it around. I'd show it to you. But I'm happy to leave a link so your listeners can take a look at it. I'd
All right.
highly recommend it. It sounds good on alto and tenor.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Jeanette?
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to one of my favorite clips that you did was that rim shot. Air
Oh,
provider.
okay.
Let's take a listen to that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my joint. Okay, so I had to play that.
Oh, I appreciate
But
that.
you know what? You make such nice videos, the graphics, and then at one point I was like, do you have a twin sister or is this camera work here? Because
Right.
yeah,
Right. No, absolutely. For me, my creativity and my imagination doesn't stop at the saxophone. I try my best to immerse myself in every aspect of this process. So that means, I mean, I've been working in video editing softwares for years, currently working in Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, and in the past, I started with a system called Movavi, which I don't know if anybody else is a editor, you know about that. It's
what-
it's it's old school, it's the OG, but I've had such a good time, gaining additional skills over the years, and today is even a more exciting time because with the recent technological developments, editing is I I'm going to get mixed opinions about this. A lot of people are shying away from these tools, I'll say, and systems, but I believe that we should use them as tools. So artificial intelligence, along with your creativity, all of these things merged together can give you that illusion that you have a twin in the room. So I've enjoyed embracing these tools, but um, like I said, having the foundation first and foremost is what you need in order to really take these tools and make something really creative and original.
right.
Yeah,
So when you went to
yeah,
college, when you went to college, you had a full ride scholarship in music, right?
I did.
Okay. Were you playing? Did you learn classical while you were in college too?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started out in as a classical saxophonist. I was learning things like Rachmaninoff and I'm trying to think. There was one other composer. It's neither here nor there. It's
Yeah.
classical. I performed with private lesson instructors and with so many types of ensembles, whether it's the Houston Symphony Band, the McLennan Wood or Symphony Band, um, as I mentioned, Corsicana Swing Orchestra. These are all heavily classical based ensembles, but having that foundation, I mean, is everything whenever you want to branch off into a genre like smooth jazz, neo soul, R&B. The technical skills are just directly transferable. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was getting. I was getting it because when I read it, your background, it said you had classical training. I was like, she's already technically straight. Because if you get through that classical stuff, you are ready to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
right?
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
it teaches you elements that, help your improvisation or help your creativity. Whether that's like articulation that you learned, staccato, legato, the way you approach a note, the dynamics that you use, how you want to go about delivering this to evoke a certain feeling.
Right.
That's what classical music really allows you to do, and like I said, it's directly transferable to anything you want to try to take to the next level in another genre. And I encourage everyone to explore, see what else is out there. Yeah.
Don't they use
Yeah.
small tip openings, mouthpieces too, and use like 5, 4, and stuff like that
Yeah.
for classical? Yeah.
I mean, it really, yeah, sometimes it depends on your setup.
Um,
A lot of the times, if your embouchure is tighter or looser, you may need to adjust that. But hard rubber mouthpieces are
yeah.
typical in the classical world. They
Right.
give you more of a darker tone. Yeah, yeah. I play on a metal mouthpiece, which is super bright, super
Right.
edgy. It gives me this like growl,
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
absolutely love, and kind of shakes you. You can feel it in your stomach whenever you're listening to it. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, I've enjoyed the classical experience I've had, and I'm so excited for the future. I'll share something else with you. This year, I had the opportunity to do something different since we're speaking about tech and music. Um, I know I dabble in the arts as well. So I do a lot of abstract painting. I was welcomed by the Arts Council in my hometown to do an art show because of this and play my saxophone earlier this year, which is one of the coolest things that I've gotten a chance to do because I designed everything. I used my editing skills. I made up custom tracks that went with every painting that allowed the audience to scan a QR code to go to the sound, to listen to the sound that went with the painting as they were in the gallery show. Now, the other thing that I did was take each sound and essentially match them all together so that whether this person was at this painting or this person was at this painting at this time, the sounds would coincide no matter when they started. So it just essentially made a soundscape in the room, and it was one of the most interesting things that I've gotten a chance to do with the resources we have today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your company, Janet G Entertainment. How did you form
Yes.
that, and what kind of things that you offer? Because I know you're awesome. So let everybody know what you do on that.
Oh, well, thank you. So yeah, over the years, I mean, like I mentioned, I've played in every type of group. I played in the top party bands in the DFW area, and taking it all the way back from the jazz bands to the bands that I've played with recently here. I've essentially been studying how they're approaching the market, what tactics they're using, how they're engaging with their customer base, and I've taken that and developed along with other people's support in the community because I have saxophone friends. Frank Bumbus is one of them. That's
Oh, that's my boy there. That's my homie, you know.
yeah, yeah, he is somebody that has been instrumental in trying to, piece together the brand that I call Janette Entertainment today. But essentially, we're an event entertainment brand, so we cater to special events, weddings, corporate events, birthday parties, anything that music can elevate. Uh, I play solo sets with tracks primarily. However, I have the option to add duets in the form of being a vocalist with Dwayne Pugh. He's a national recording artist here in town, amazing
Awesome.
vocalist.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, as you mentioned, me and my husband,
Yeah, your husband, he's a
we're a
DJ.
team.
Is he a DJ?
Yes, yes, he DJs with me. So, it's he has been managing this business with me for years now, since its inception, and we've grown so much together. We've expanded this and scaled the business to a point to where we're doubling revenue and making connections all around the community. But he joins me in order to fully service particular events. So if I have a wedding and I maybe need to go play as the bride's coming down the aisle, but we need to have somebody ready for cocktail hour as the guests come in, we'll split those duties. I'll play, he'll get the music ready, we'll make sure we have a smooth transition, things of that nature. So it really works out. It really does.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Oh
And
yeah.
I followed you. So when you got married, I saw that, and I could see the joy on your face and everything when you guys are together. I
Oh,
see the love. So yeah,
oh
kudos to
yeah.
you. I'm happy
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you. Same to you. You have such a gorgeous wife. Oh my gosh.
Well, we're not
Lucky
married, but
man.
yeah, but thank you though. Yeah, she is. She's a beautiful woman though.
Oh,
She's had beautiful daughters, and we
yes.
had a wonderful life. We're both retired, so you know.
Oh,
And that's
love
another
is love.
reason
Just keep on loving.
that I'm doing this because, I'm retired now and I love you guys. I love you entertainers and I love to talk shop. So I just figure if I can get some of you guys to come on, which I have,
Yeah,
this is gonna be nice and I appreciate it, you know.
absolutely. Yeah, no, like I said, what you're doing is inspiring. You're giving people an opportunity to share their stories and connect with others. And that network is, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like coming together over a shared interest like this. And it gives me the opportunity to encourage you, and you definitely encourage me. So thank you.
Yeah, vice versa. That's right. Because over the years you've always told me, Dave, I watch your stuff or whatever, keep doing it. And I
Yes.
appreciated that.
Yes, yes. And I'm hearing your movement. I'm hearing the work you're putting in
Yes, I'm
because it's
practicing
there.
every day, and I'm playing at church now,
Yes.
you know?
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so I'm cutting
Yes.
my teeth now, I just had rehearsal today before I came in
Good.
here, yeah. So
I
I'm
love
excited,
that.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. And when we get done here, I'm gonna see about working on some original music. That's the next plan for me. I love the covers, but I do believe that we all should be, trying to come up with something of our own,
Right, right,
leaving our own impression on the world, whatever that looks like. It doesn't necessarily mean that we need to win a Grammy, but
right.
if you do something and you're proud of it, that's everything.
Do you ever, when you were growing up, or when you were in college, I know you had to play the classical. Did you ever get into the straight ahead? Did you ever play any Train and Bird, anything?
Oh,
You
yeah.
did? You played all that too?
Oh, yeah, Charlie Parker. Oh, yeah, I remember I had to transcribe one of his, books.
Wow.
Now, talk about a fun time. Yeah, yeah. Now, I did play in the jazz band whenever I went to college, and, we had 8 a.m. practices, which playing jazz alone is already enough, but playing it at 8 a.m. before you even woke up was fun. um, yeah, so I do a lot of that in certain settings. I have clients that, maybe they just want a nice wine dinner and some smooth or some contemporary jazz, and then I have the opportunity to do that. Now, is it requested as much today? Unfortunately, no, not in my experience.
No,
But
yeah, I don't think
I
so.
am
Yeah.
in Texas. I'm in Texas though, so we have a little bit of a different flavor here. you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I was in a place like New York, that would be every day,
But the thing is, you
Yeah,
have the vocabulary, so if you had to pull it out, you know what to do though. So that's the thing about you. You've been through it, you know.
absolutely, absolutely. And there's jazz is kind of a journey
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, we're all going to have something that we need improvement on. Changes, following changes is trying to understand how to make these chord progressions connect is an art on its own.
Right.
And it's something that we have to really work toward, and essentially it doesn't always just happen off of the first, glance. So
Right.
I always just want to encourage people that jazz it's a journey. We're
Yeah.
Nobody's reached the pinnacle. Even the people you think are at the top are still learning, still
Right.
trying to understand and decipher the code that is jazz. But yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So what are your take on today's the music environment now with streaming versus physical copies, etc., deals or whatever. What do you think about that now?
So I don't want to sound cynical here. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's important that we're all making our musical contributions just because you don't know who needs to hear what you have to say, specifically from you. However, I will say though as it stands, what I have witnessed in the industry is essentially it's a bit of a corruption almost. It seems as though the digital streaming platform providers are taking advantage exploiting the musician or the true creatives that are behind the music. Um, so that's an unfortunate reality. Now, the real truth of the landscape that we're in today, I believe, requires musicians to unite in a way that would allow us to take our power back. And that, in my opinion, doesn't include supporting these digital streaming platforms, even though if you're talking about from a consumer standpoint, they're the most economically viable source to get your music. So Personally, I'm considering other avenues for releasing music that don't include going to Spotify or Apple Music,
Right.
that's more rooted in direct to consumer, and it may not be a physical CD, but it may be a link to a CD on my website in which you can access, at any time. So, there are other avenues that I think are going to make better sense for the modern musician outside of simply getting 0.004 cents per
Yeah.
stream, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read a statistic that uh, less than 10% of the artists on these platforms like Spotify make more than $10,000 annually. So when you look at those numbers, you have to realize that there's a pivot that needs to happen musically. What are we going to do in order to make this economically viable again? And on top of the direct to consumer model, I think that just finding out the product that you want to sell, for me personally, I'm still in the service aspect of it, so I'll go out, I'll promote my music and with the intention of going live or going to perform live somewhere. But I would also encourage up and coming musicians to figure out, like, maybe you have a T-shirt with your brand on it, or a hat, or any type of physical, tangible products, because music a lot of the times is the vehicle. So you got to figure out, how you're going to use that vehicle to get to where you're going. But yeah, that's a quite the topic today.
But the beautiful thing is, with all that being said, you could make a living without making records. So
Oh yeah, and
that's
that's
the beautiful thing right there, right? Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with it. If there's anything that I could share with young musicians, it's today with the resources and tools available to you, you have the ability to make music into anything that you can conceptualize. Like, what can you dream of? Um, do you see yourself on the road on tour? Or do you see yourself, maybe catering to your local market? You could travel the world with this if you're able to market yourself, learn the skills. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll have to wear many hats here. That's going to be producer, director, video editor. I mean, it could go as far as, my husband, for example, on a show had a malfunction with my dress. He became a wardrobe manager at that point. So, you know, the duties can extend so far. But if you're willing to get your feet wet and immerse yourself in as many topics and skills as possible, you can do whatever you want to do today. So I hope that if nobody leaves with anything, that they understand that there's an opportunity out there. Don't get caught up in the rhetoric of the music business is dead. I'm a testament that it's not, just as the musicians before you have been a testament to that as well. So, yeah.
And what give me give me what kind of advice have you gotten from an OG, somebody that's been in the game for a while that sticks with you today? Somebody said, "Well, Jeanette, you need to do this," and it still stuck with you. Can you recall anything like that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I won't name him because
Yeah,
I
you don't
won't
have
put
to
him on the
name. No.
spot because he may somebody may know who he is, but there's a saxophonist here in Dallas. He's had a band for several years here, but he just basically wanted me to ensure that I was true to myself, that I didn't turn my back on the values that make me up, right? Because in this industry, what we see a lot of gimmicks, like, for lack of a better way to say it, that are praised and um, they're essentially they'll have their viral moment. They
Right.
get the attention, whether or not that the work has been put in, and that can be discouraging. But this guy, the saxophonist, he just let me know that that type of stuff, it fades.
Mm,
The real stuff is going to be here, and you just wait and see. So that stuck with me because
that's
it's
good.
so much of lots of fakeness going on, but what's real is it's not going anywhere.
That's true. Yeah, you got that right. So let me ask you about
Yeah.
you have such a beautiful tone, and I know you play a lot of gigs. So what do you practice to maintain your fluidity that you have and everything? What do you practice?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's really, you're going to be bored with this one, but long tones, that's number one.
That's it.
Um, yeah, long tones are totally underrated. If anything, there's something else that I don't see a lot of people talking about, and it's the breathing aspect of it, outside of long tones. Absent of horn, just practicing your breathing. There's a YouTube link that I like to share with my students called the Breathing Gym. And
Breathing gym. Okay,
this, yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
check it
if you've
out.
never heard of it, it's simple. YouTube, yeah, YouTube it.
Okay.
But there are two professors that'll take you through exercising your lungs. And fundamentally, without the breath support, you're not going to be able to produce the tone to even do anything else. So fundamentals are everything and shouldn't be glazed over in the process. So if I could say anything to somebody, as far as like what I would encourage you to do based off of where I've been and what I'm doing, practice breathing. Deep breaths in, focused and controlled breaths out. Yeah, just keep focusing on that and then bring the horn in, because it doesn't matter how many notes you can play up and down the horn. If you can't get one note to sound good, it doesn't matter. If you can just play with one note, you're doing something, because it takes rhythm, it takes breath
One note
control,
samba, right? That's
articulation.
all. One note samba. That's it.
Hey, hey, it's all about that feeling. Can you make that one note sound good?
That's it.
And then give me two notes, you know? But yeah, yeah, I would say breathing and long tones.
Overtone. You do
Hmm.
overtones, or that was when you earlier on? Or what?
I don't think I've had to really, do an overtone for any particular reason.
Yeah.
I dabble in it in rehearsal, but it's not something that I really take out. It's a preference, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I like other things.
What kind of hobbies do you have when you're not playing music? What do you like to do for fun? What do you and your husband do?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like I mentioned, art is a big one. I'll show you
Yeah.
kind of. Here's something I'm working on right now, right?
Okay.
Abstract, really weird. What's going on?
Oh,
It's kind
that's
of weird.
nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I love all things art. Video editing, excuse me. Video editing is a big one for me. Um, so recently I've been getting into the application CapCut. I know it's probably late to the party there, but um, man, the artificial intelligence integration in that application has cut down a lot of my time that I have to spend with marketing. Um, I would encourage anybody to take a look into that. But a lot of what I like to do is editing, art. I love to cook. Oh my God, I'm a
You a good cook?
crazy. I'm a fanatic. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I cook just about anything.
All right.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
another form of creativity. You ask my husband, I'll go in the kitchen and I'll make triple stuffed French toast with fresh fruit glaze, and it's really too much, to be honest.
oh
Yeah, so I'm
yeah.
trying to get that under control. But yeah, those are some of the things I enjoy.
Okay. Do you enjoy being on the road as opposed to like playing shows around town?
Ah, okay. So here's something else that it may get me canceled. I'm not really big into traveling, and that's a big reason why I've tailored my business to target the Southern America. So I'll travel as far as Houston to Oklahoma, all the way out to Georgia. I've had shows in Georgia before. So I try to keep it within the Southern United States, just for economic purposes. And because I do enjoy balance. I work full time on top of running this business and have family, and I'm in school as well for another degree right now. So there's a
Um,
lot that goes on in my world. So being stationed to the area as possible, and this goes back into, the message that I want to send to younger musicians. As I mentioned earlier, if you know yourself, you know that you either enjoy to travel or you don't, keep that in mind whenever you want to pursue music, because you can tailor it in a way where you can work around town and make an impact in your direct community, and still have the family and still have whatever else that you'd like to have in your life. So um yeah, I don't mind traveling, but my preference and the way I've set my life up allows me to have a balance between family and music. I kind of am able to select where I can go and when, that way. What makes sense for everyone, basically.
that's beautiful though. I ain't mad at you. You do what's comfortable for you, and that makes you happy.
Yeah,
That's the end of the day.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what though, and
Yeah.
so how do you figure your set list for your shows and stuff? All those great tunes that you play, how do you come up with,
Oh, excuse me.
like if you're gonna do
Oh,
a corporate gig or something that's like an hour or 2 hours, how do you pick
that's a
your
great
set?
question. Well, here's what I do. I mean, as I mentioned, I have a lot of experience already. Pardon me, I had something in my eye here. I have a lot of experience in a diverse, you know, uh, in diverse types of settings. So, um, I, whenever I receive an inquiry, initially tailor it based off of, the setting that I'm in, according to, what the client informs me. But because of the way I approach this, if someone calls me and says, I need, I don't know, Bollywood music, for example, maybe it's not in our everyday set,
Right.
which this has happened before. I work with that client to tailor the sound to what they want. They can give me a few examples of the artist or genre or, song titles that they prefer, and I'll do my work. I'll either custom make you guys an instrumental track that is the song, and I'll learn it for you. Or we'll work together. I'll find other music that is in a similar fashion, and I'll get an approval with my client to make sure that this is, their vision and what they essentially are looking for. So, I try my best to tailor it to each person. But there's some anthems, in
Yeah.
communities. I'll keep it there.
Yeah, I understand. But that's all
Yeah.
right, Joe. So
Oh, yeah.
do you have any pregame rituals that you do before a show? Like 30 minutes before the show, you do long tones, or you don't want nobody to talk to you, or you mess with your reeds or your
Mm.
mouthpiece. Do you have anything you do before you start a show, like an hour before the show? What do you do?
Sure, sure. Now, yeah. Now this is where that breathing gym comes back in, because if you're ever getting ready to perform, I know a lot of the times we tend to tighten up, the anxiety, the nerves kick in, and
Right.
we're tense. So a ritual of mine is to go through. There's one exercise that basically it's like you're having a panic attack.
Yeah.
But with every inhale and exhale, you get a little bit more oxygen intake until you filled up your lungs. You hold it and then you release it. And you do this several times until you feel your chest loosen up. And whenever I finally feel that inside, then I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. I can give you what I can give you. I can give you what I got. Yeah.
Jeanette,
Yeah.
what's so funny about that is it's the same thing, even with athletes. You've done this 10,000 times. So it seems like you can just walk up there and just do it. But athletes say the same thing. I've listened to Michael Irvin say, Emmitt Smith said, man, when they kick that ball off, man, until you get that first hit, man, you nervous as I don't know what until you get hit. Then all of a sudden, you good. So it's the same thing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just, it's that
You know,
nervous energy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like I said, been doing this for a long time. I'm still waiting on that day where I have zero nerves. It's not here yet. But I mean, of course, of course, you're going to have nerves, but once you continue to practice something, you get up there and it becomes muscle memory in a sense. And I've had times where, maybe I am nervous before the performance, but I get up there and it's like everything around me still or stops. Like almost I black out.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, I've heard other musicians say this as well. It's a phenomenon. You get up there and it's like, okay, I know I'm here and I know I'm playing, but I'm not really here. It's almost out of body, you know?
I've heard that.
I guess that's just a way to get away from the nerves. I don't know.
Hey, have you ever
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you ever forgot what you were gonna play? Have you ever been playing and then a part comes up and you don't quite remember and you just, you know, freelance a little bit? You ever had that happen?
Oh man, you're calling me out here now. Okay. Well, look, of course, everything isn't perfect, but
Right.
I've learned over the years that nobody else knows how you messed up. They're not thinking about that. They have no idea
That's
that
true.
you didn't play a B when you should have played a C, or you played a B when you should have played a C.
Right,
They
right.
just know how you respond in those situations.
Yeah.
And confidence is all I can say. You just confidently play the wrong note, and that's really what you need to get you through. Not to say that you're just out here messing up a song, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe I'll miss a note, but I'm gonna jazz it up and I'm gonna put an accent or a pickup note onto the next part so that
Yeah.
you thought that was on purpose.
I was watching Jay
It's a
Beckenstein.
performance.
I was watching the sax player from Spyro Gyra. You know, he's a bad boy, Jay Beckenstein. And he was interviewing. The guy says,
Mm,
he said, "Man, I've been playing this song 50 years. I got up there on the stage and forgot my own song." So he said he was playing, he just forgot the song. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he got
No, yeah, that happens. I'll it- and you'll play a lot. I play songs from memory all night. So some of the times I don't know what's coming next until I hear the first note. And I'm like, oh, yep, here we are. Here we are. And it's not that you don't practice, it's just so much information that your
yeah,
brain is
yeah,
processing that it's like, okay, okay, now, yep, I'm here. Great. I'm just happy for the quick response. That's all I
yeah,
can say.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Janelle, you've had such a wonderful career, and you said you about 20 years in, right? 20 years
Yeah.
you've been playing? Yeah.
Yeah. 20
Okay.
years still.
So
Yeah.
what so where do you see yourself at 5 years from now?
Oh man. Well, right now I'm doing the work to develop the foundation needed in order to properly achieve having multiple acts on my brand. So, my business is registered. I got insurance, the contracts, all the legitimate stuff that I need to have. I want to make sure that that's in order. And slowly, I'm bringing, one person on at a time and trying to, um, create a path for them to express their music through this brand and while servicing the community. So, essentially, my goal over the next 5 years is to expand the enterprise to bring more talent in and collaborate with more individuals. Just making a community and networking with others.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. So I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
since you mentioned collabs, if you had your choice, anybody you could play with, producer, or artist, whatever, you have anybody in mind that say right now, Babyface, I would like to work with. Do you have anybody like that in mind?
That is a good question. Now, I mean, as an instrumentalist, I would obviously like to play with other instrumentalists. There are female saxophonists in this genre that I would love the opportunity to work with. Jasmine Jen is one. I
Okay,
really love her style.
she's
She's a
nice.
powerhouse and poised.
Yeah, she's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I love the ladies, that show their talent. It's always interesting for me to see Jeanette Harris. I
Oh
love
my
her
God.
style, love her playing,
She
and it's
is
just
no,
funny we're Jeanette's from
I
Texas.
know.
Weird. Mhm.
She's the truth as well.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm
Brittany
like,
Atterbury, Brittany's a beast too,
yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, yes. No, I mean, I absolutely love seeing women, get in there and just represent for a better way to say it, for lack of a
Yeah.
better way to say it, because women in this industry, we tend to be overlooked.
Yeah.
Even I'll tell you this is funny. My husband and I will go to performances and he'll be carrying my saxophone for me, for example. And we've had people every other gig come up to him and say, "Man, we can't wait for you to play that thing."
Exactly.
And he's like, "I don't play." That's her. So it's funny. It just speaks to the fact that the representation
Yeah.
hasn't always been there. So I hope to encourage other young women to show them that, look, girl, you could do it too.
Agree.
you know, it- there's nothing that you can't do. So, I love seeing these women in these positions.
And so do I. And that's why I want some more of them on the show. I have you and I have
Yeah.
Javon Jones coming up pretty soon, the violinist.
Oh yes, I
Yeah, I
love
got her
Javon.
coming on, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more women because it's enough guys, but I want to get more women. I want some flute players and some sax player, trumpet
Yeah.
players. You know what I mean? I want everything. I just want to talk.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and there's so many people in the community that have a story to tell. So, oh, I think you'll be doing the community a great service by just pursuing those people.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I have been doing that too. But
I
um,
see you.
yeah, I've I've been doing it, boy. 3 in a week. Like. But I'm still working on people because I know you guys are
Yeah.
busy. So if you're busy, somebody else may not be busy at the time. I appreciate you. It was last minute you had told me, you said, hey, next month sometime. So I send you a little
Yeah.
feeler out. You said, hey, so I'm available whenever you guys can do it. That's how I roll right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your flexibility. Man, I would have loved to do it sooner. Last month was unforgiving. But I got some breath or got some air now, so I'm breathing now.
Yeah.
But no, just keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and share anything, and hopefully encourage anyone. I hope one person was encouraged.
Oh, you know what? This has been a wonderful interview. Like I said, I've been watching you for years, and you've always been so kind, and you play well. And you and your husband have a thing going there, and that's a beautiful thing. So keep doing what you got
Yeah.
to do. Keep much more success to you. And before we go, can you give
Thank
everybody your
you.
socials and how to get in touch with you and everything?
Yes. Of course, all of my socials are at saxophonist Janette G. My website, you can look me up at www.saxophonistjanettegee.com, or if you just type in Janette G Entertainment, my site will come up. And that's the best way to reach me. If you guys go to the website and select the contact tab, there you can fill out our form, and one of our team members will get back with you within a few hours in most instances. So, yeah, I appreciate you letting me share that.
All right, well, thank you. And then also, when you get ready to release your music or whatever, let me know, and maybe
Oh,
we have to
yeah.
do it again or something. Okay.
We will. We will.
All right.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Dave.
much,
I
Jeanette. I
appreciate the
really
call.
appreciate you. Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too, everybody. That was the wonderful Jeanette. She's just awesome. Jeanette G. So you guys look her up. You can see her on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever, and support her and support all other musicians. Support live music. Go to shows. Buy music. Buy
Mhm.
merchandise. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day. This is Dave Saxologist for Saxo Friends. You guys take care. Bye bye.